back. It's Virtual Doll Convention's Toast to 24 online event for doll collectors around the world. And we are already having such a great time, and I am so glad that you are here with me today. So at doll conventions, one of the things that is fun to do is to talk and to share experiences. And so I have several videos this month where we are going to be talking and sharing experiences as doll collectors. I have some top 10 lists where part of the fun is to read the comments from other people. So I would love it if on my top 10 list right here, you share some of your experiences. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of my experiences because in this video, we are chatting about things that doll collectors understand, experiences that doll collectors understand. There's going to be a lot of things that I talk about in this video where you might be nodding your head like, yep, I get it. That's me. I just had that last week. So in this video, when I go down the list, or I might share some of my personal experiences, which I love to do, is share a lot of my personal experiences, is you share your personal experiences. So let's hear from you. Let's chat it out. So we're going to be talking about experiences that doll collectors understand. You might not get everyone on this list. You might get every single thing on this list, but I know as doll collectors or people that appreciate dolls, or we have some sewing people here, not everyone has a huge collection. Maybe you don't have any dolls or you have one or two dolls. I know you're going to understand because we've all been there. So let's get into it. And hi, if you're new here, I'm Rachel. This is my doll shop. We are out here in Denver, Colorado, and we love to do online doll things all the time and share it on the internet. So we are here right now during our Toast to 24 event. So here we go. Now, the first one that doll collectors understand, all doll collectors understand, is, especially if you have purchased something online, is the joy of the first unboxing. Oh my goodness, the joy of the first unboxing for a doll. Now, sometimes it's not joyful. Sometimes we get things and we're like, that's not what I thought, or that's not what I ordered. But we hope, and we really hope every time, that the joy of the first unboxing is something magical and exciting. And I have unboxed so many things on my channel where I have shared with you the first look, uncorking the bottle, opening the doll, and seeing it. But one of my very favorite times of doing an unboxing was years ago. I streamed it live. It was live, and I unboxed my giant Raggedy Ann and Andy dolls. It is a memory. It is one of my favorite unboxings of all time. And we're going to take a little trip down memory road because if you haven't seen it, this is an iconic video as far as all of my videos go. And you're going to see some of the joy of my favorite unboxing that I have ever done with my giant Volan Raggedy Ann and Andy dolls. I'm wearing my happy dress because it's a happy doll day for me, and I want to celebrate it and share it with you. If you can see this picture right here, these are a pair of very, very, very rare oversized Raggedy Ann and Andy dolls right there. The Volan company ordered them on special order, 620 Anns, 710 Andys, and that's it. And one of the wonderful things that I remember is when I was preparing to do a talk on Raggedy Ann and Andy, and I was talking to my mom about it, and I was showing her the different things, and I said, Mom, they even made these really super ultra rare Raggedy Ann and Andys that are these oversized ones that were used in store displays, and they're so elusive and so hard to find. She said, oh, I have one of those. And I was like, what? And she did. She had an oversized Andy, and he is one of my favorite dolls ever. He is at my mom's house right now. He's not here, but I always wanted an Ann to go with him. I have a set. Two Raggedy Ann and Andy, oversized, are here in this box. Oh my gosh. You guys. Okay. Look at this. All right. There's Andy. I can literally not believe it. Oh my God. Look at him. They have these wonderful, huge baseball mitt kind of oversized hands, and they're the absolute best. Look at how big his hand is. It's like almost the size of my head. It's wonderful. Okay. He has some condition issues, but I literally do not care. These are so amazing. You know what I mean? It's just so fun. Like, and I even wore a special outfit and everything because it was Raggedy Ann and Andy Day. Man, if she was in her original outfit, it would just be literally everything. But, so here is a wonderful one. This is a very, very, very sweet early Raggedy Ann, and she came with this Andy. Where's the Andy? We have an Andy in the back that Linda's fixing, but this, oh my gosh, she's so sweet. The earliest Volans had, now the earliest ones, they had painted black feet over the striped material that went all the way down, and instead of making black material feet, they just painted black paint over it. And those are the earliest cottage dolls that were actually made by the Gruelle family. These had little feet issues, but here's the little Andy. They're not a matched pair because this Ann has a drawn on face, which is absolutely wonderful. They were drawn on, so they're all different. And this Andy has the later printed on face, but he is absolutely still so wonderful. This is a little bit later. This is a Georgine, and another one of my loves is Beloved Belindy. And this one is so cute. I bought this one from Jonathan Green in the Summer Fling sales room, and she's by Georgine, which came after Voland. This girl, I absolutely had to have. I mean, look at her. I'm not going to do anything to repair this face. This is another wonderful thing that I love about Raggedy Ann because she can be any condition and she's still amazing. All right, the second one is transforming spaces into galleries. Now, not all of us have room in our homes or spaces where we can dedicate an entire room to our doll collection, but some of us do. Some of us have just a wall. Some of us have just a little corner, just a little space, but transforming a space to be able to really display your dolls is one of the joyful things I think about doll collecting or collecting anything, is because when you collect it all, sometimes we do keep it in boxes because we can't have everything out at once. But part of the joy of collecting is having our things in where we can see them. So transforming our spaces. So if you're watching this and you have just started a new space, or you want to start a new space, or you're planning a new space, or you're doing it right now, share some of your tips, share some of your favorite cases that you like to display dolls. Share your dreams for what you hope to have one day, or if you just completed your gallery for displaying your dolls. Remember, it doesn't have to be big and huge. It doesn't have to look like this shop. It doesn't have to look like a museum. It just has to reflect you and what you love. So as doll collectors and collectors at large, no matter what you collect, displaying our loved things, our things that we have purchased, our dolls, our wonderful things that we collect, is a huge part of the process of being a collector. So I'd like to hear about that. All right, the next one is restoring triumph. So the satisfaction of restoring a doll or bringing its beauty back to life. I would like to hear about that. There are so many collectors and people that are watching these videos that you know how to do things. You know how to restore things. I see some of the before and afters. Some of my favorites that I have seen are with the Show and Hut doll groups, where you take a Show and Hut doll that has seen a lot better days, and that those are wooden dolls, and transform them to just have a new life. It's like they take on new lives, and it is an incredible thing to witness and to see. We miss Linda at the doll shop tremendously, but one of the big things that we used to do a lot, and I hope to do again someday, is we showed so much of our restoring and just cleaning the dolls, giving them a bath, bringing them back. Linda could take dolls that they came in and they were pretty, but just a bath and pressing their clothes and cleaning them made them look like Christmas presents. It's amazing what you can do with a little bit of care. So it doesn't have to be a full-fledged restoration, but those are very, very tempting to watch as well. I love watching those too. So bringing a doll back to life. So if you have a recent thing where you watched some YouTube videos and you learned how to do something and you finally got the courage to do it for your doll, I'd love to hear about it. But as collectors, I think that's one of the really fun parts, is we get a doll and we have all these big plans for it, and sometimes life starts and we can't do it, or we don't know how or whatever. But when we have those moments where we figure out how to do it, where we see the right tutorial or we get the right inspiration to be able to take up that sewing project, or restore that outfit, or clean that doll, or fix that leg. That's one of the most fun parts about being a doll collector, I think, is the journey in the restoration and the preservation of the doll. Everything we have in life requires maintenance and care to keep it looking at its best. Literally everything in life. And so being a doll collector, a huge part of it is the maintenance of your collection. So when we have those moments of, I did it, I'd love to hear about it, because that is what is so fun. And I love empowering people to be able to do that. That's why I shared so much of that on my channel, and you can find those videos on my channel. So look through that. Okay, number 4 is theme-driven hunts. The adventure of seeking a doll to find a specific theme or era and making each find a treasure. So I would love to hear about that. So many types of doll collecting is drilled down into types of dolls. So there are people that just collect Wizard of Oz, or just collect Cinderella, or just collect a type of themed doll. So you like all types of dolls, but they're all dressed in steampunk, or you like all types of dolls, but they're Edwardian era. So finding a theme is really fun, especially if you're just getting into something and you're trying to fit a theme. Dressing your dolls to fit that theme is one of the most joyful parts of being a doll collector. So if you're gravitating towards a certain theme right now, or you're working towards a display, one of my favorite ones is, I met a lady once who had nurse dolls, and she had Red Cross dolls, and they were so many different types of dolls from different eras and different genres, but they were all nurses. That is so cool to me. So theme-driven collecting is something that if you don't do it as a doll collector, you're still going to understand, and you've definitely seen it in some special exhibits and some displays throughout your life as a doll collector. So maybe share one of your favorite theme collections that you've seen. So for here, my mom's collection of her, she has so many different types of things, but Christmas themed. We have Christmas everything here. So that's a huge theme, is Christmas and holidays. So I'd love to hear about that. All right. The next one is number 5 is cultural journeys through dolls. So discovering different cultures and histories through international and ethnically diverse dolls. That is a huge one. I have learned and traveled so many places, but some of the early dolls, the early antique dolls, they are dressed in outfits from their region. And we have seen that many, many times through the course of doll collecting. And modern dolls too will still come out a lot of times in an outfit that is inspired by a region, but we have learned and we can travel so much through the art of doll collecting. And if you're a doll collector, then you're going to understand that. So maybe in the comments, let me know your favorite doll that represents a certain place or a certain era or a certain region. But learning about cultures and clothing through our dolls is such a huge part of doll collecting that doll collectors understand. Okay, the next one is the evolution of a collector. So reflecting on how your collection and tastes have evolved over the years. Your evolution as a collector. That's a big one, because my evolution as a collector has taken different forms. And back in the day when we were here at the doll shop, we only did antique and vintage dolls. We didn't do anything beyond maybe 1960, and everything was early 1900s. And that was an incredible, beautiful journey that I went on in my doll career as my job, and also with my mother, who gravitated mostly towards all antique dolls. But for me personally, as a collector and as a person that has been in the business of dolls, the first time I opened a Robert Tonner doll in January 2020, which I ordered them in 2019 for our virtual doll convention, I was hooked. I didn't have hardly any experience. I didn't know that Tonner dolls came with stands in the box. I didn't know anything about them, really. I'm still learning so much. But my journey as a collector has gravitated a lot towards modern dolls, because I have had so much fun with the fashions and with the different dolls. And I love how easy they are to play with and how unbreakable they are. I appreciate and love the antique dolls here so much. They're my absolute favorites. But I always have to hold my breath when we move them or we transport them or we do anything. And so for me, the evolution of being a collector is that I have, over the last several years, developed a deep appreciation for modern dolls. Not just Tonner dolls, but modern dolls of all types. I never even thought or looked at them or really even considered them in the past. And now my world has been opened to so much. So now I get to appreciate and love everything, because I opened my heart and mind to modern, to vintage, to antique, to to everything, and I get to do it. So that's been my journey. I would love to hear your journey. I know a lot of you that might be watching might have a bit of the same journey, because me, when I first started doing content and sharing with you, it was usually all mostly antique and vintage. And then I started dipping my toes into the modern thing. And I've had a lot of you say, I never saw myself ever collecting or doing the modern dolls as well, but I'm having such a blast with it. So maybe you're on the same journey as I am, is your world has been open to modern as well, and to appreciating just everything. So I would love to hear, and I'm sure all of our friends that are watching as well would love to hear in the comments some of your evolution and your journey as a doll collector. Where did you start? What were some of the good years? Did you leave for a little bit and then come back to dolls? That's one thing that a lot of people do, is they leave and then they come back to dolls, and then they leave and then they come back. That's life, and that's evolving, and that's part of being a doll collector. Is our life takes on different forms. Sometimes we're busy raising children and we just don't have time for dolls. That was never my experience and my mother's experience. I do not know a life in a world without dolls. I've never had a life without dolls. And my life has been greatly enhanced from dolls and the people I have met and the opportunities that they have brought and the connections that I have fostered. My life is just, I'm never going to know a life without dolls. And so for that, I am incredibly grateful. But I would love, love, love to hear some of your story. Okay, the 7th experience is connecting generations. Connecting generations. Dolls are such a way for people to connect with each other, but with connecting generations, sharing your passion with your younger family members or friends and bridging generational gaps. That's a really big one, because children, they're interested in things, whether they know it's a doll or they don't quite understand quite yet. They do find it interesting. And one of the most beautiful things that a lot of you share with me, such as being on our subscription, is a lot of you are grandmas and you share it with your grandchildren. So we even have several people on our subscription boxes that are on the subscription box twice, and they get one for their grandchild. I have a wonderful lady in Australia who sends one to her grandchild as well, and then they open them up together over Zoom. And I think that is the most beautiful thing. Every time we pack their boxes, I love it. And I couldn't imagine what that would be like growing up as a child, to have that experience every month with your grandma, and to be able to do that and to talk about it. Maybe she'll want to do it forever, maybe she won't, but to have that period of time in your life where you can connect and share and do things together. I know with the subscription, I get a lot of comments. I only know it because you tell me. You'll say, my grandchild loved the Little Mermaid box the most, or I gave the snack to my grandchild, or you'll tell me about your children and grandchildren. Whether they play with it or not, they appreciate it, and they like to see what grandma's doing, or grandpa, and they like to see the outfit of the month, and it's something to chat about. So dolls can bridge gaps between generations. A lot of times, and that can go two ways. Sometimes we get a lot of people coming into our doll shop that grandma left them a bunch of dolls that they don't want, that grandma said, don't ever sell these, they're going to be worth something someday or whatever. And whether they are or not, I've had a lot of people come in with guilt because they've been having these dolls in their possession for decades and they don't necessarily want them. And so I work as a therapist a lot with families. And by therapy, I sit with them and I share my story and I tell them that it's okay if you don't want to have this doll. It was a different world back then, generations ago, where you didn't sell things and things were thought to be kept in the family forever. And it's okay. You can't force doll collecting on anybody. You can't make people want material things. I personally don't want a lot of things that my dad has and loves. He collects all kinds of things that as a child of a collector, I don't personally want to have one day, and that I will sell these things one day on his behalf if he wants me to. So it can go two ways, but for me, my personal experience has been the most beautiful thing, because with my mother, and this is not how I saw my life going back in the day, back when I was in college, back when this was my mom's business and I worked here. Of course, it took a turn that I would not have chosen, but here we are, and it is a beautiful thing. And so that is something for me that has been such a beautiful, beautiful gift, is to have the life of dolls bridging generations. And so we're going to see what happens with my daughter. She may love dolls, she may not. She may be helping and taking over. How cool would that be? Or she may love her dad's pottery, which is going to be about 4 doors down from this doll shop. Derek is working on his new pottery studio and working really hard. But the generation, I just love that. It connects people. Dolls connect people. So I would love to hear your story about if you share it with a member of your family and if it has been a good thing for you and connected you. Okay, the next experience that all doll collectors understand, I know you're all gonna understand this, is finding unexpected things in unlikely places. So the excitement of finding a rare or sought after doll in an unexpected place. This is so fun, and as doll collectors, this is always the thrill of the hunt. At a doll show, you pretty much expect to find things, but sometimes still you'll find something that you've been looking for decades or just a really long time, and you'll find it. But sometimes we find them in unexpected places. So I have a friend that found a #1 Barbie at a thrift store, and she was in beautiful condition. And this was only a few years ago. It was before the Barbie movie, so that's unlikely to happen as much, but it was like 2 or 3 years ago. #1. I mean, and they had it priced $4 or something like that. It's crazy to me. So dolls can be found in unexpected places all the time. So if you have a story of where you found a rare or sought after doll, or it doesn't have to be rare in terms of even like commercial value, money value, but something that you were looking for that you wanted to find. And I have over the years found a lot of things in thrift stores or just in unlikely places. And this goes for fashion too. We have a thrift store next to the doll shop over here. And then there's also one by my house where I have found vintage Chanel clothes. I have found Louis Vuitton, real. I have found beautiful designer things sometimes at these thrift stores, and there's some of my outfits that I have worn in many videos over the years, St. John clothing at thrift stores. Thank you so much to the person who donated them. But as doll collectors, we're constantly on the quest and on the hunt. That is my thing here, is every day we get tons of emails. I get a lot of emails of people trying to sell things and sell collections. And for the most part, I can't buy pretty much all of it because a lot of it is the same stuff that we still have here in storage. But every time I open that email, I think, man, I hope that's an Izana Walker doll. I hope that is an oversized Voland Raggedy Ann. I hope it's something I really want that I am constantly on the hunt for. I hope it's a #1 Barbie. So we have our hopes and our wishes and our dreams, and I know a lot of you have success stories in that area, so I would love for you to share if you have a success story of finding a rare or sought after thing that you were looking for in an unexpected place, in a place that you wouldn't necessarily think to find it, such as a doll shop. You expect to find dolls in a doll shop, but sometimes we just find things in random places, and I know you got some stories, so let's hear about them. Okay, the 9th one is for people who are crafty and know how to sew or know how to make, or are not afraid to get in and make some stuff, and that is tailoring tiny fashion. So the delight in crafting or collecting miniature outfits and accessories for your dolls. So that's actually not just for people who sew. What am I saying? That's for doll collectors. So if you are a doll collector, even teddy bears wear a lot of clothes, but isn't it about the fashion? It's about the fashion. So collecting the clothing, that's literally how we run a lot of our business here, is our fashion subscription with our dolls. Every month we put out new fashions and new clothes, which is so incredibly exciting. And collecting those fashions and remembering where we found it, or where we went in the story, or where Grace wore that outfit, or when we look and collect Robert Tonner's Elowin fashions, it's always where she wore it, where she went, the name of the outfit. I'm gonna show you an outfit real quick to show you what I'm talking about. All right, so this is an example. This is one of Robert's designs, a vintage design on an Elowin, but oh my gosh, it's one of my favorite designs, and it's called Endangered Species. And here's Elowin and her, of course, this is what she'd wear, trying to catch an endangered species, maybe of a butterfly or something. Elowin wouldn't be out trying to catch an animal, but she's got a little butterfly net, a little bug net, And I absolutely love this outfit. But when we're collecting these tiny little fashions, oh yeah, she's got butterflies. Look, right here, butterflies. So it's an endangered species of a butterfly, already deceased, that she would be catching. You know, we don't know. It's just so much fun. And I had this outfit and I sent it to a Big L1 collector. Her name is Nikki, and she immediately knew it was the endangered species outfit. This is the fun of collecting, and the outfits. So the tiny outfits, oh my gosh, I would love to hear about your latest favorite outfit, or maybe an outfit that you're on the hunt for, or one that you didn't buy that you've been looking for forever. Sometimes we don't buy the outfit and then we're on the hunt for the outfit. I get so many emails of people, hey, do you have this outfit? This is my holy grail outfit. Or I'd just love to hear about one of your favorite outfits. You know, post in the comments. Let us know. This video is because I want to connect with you, but also let's connect with each other and share our experiences, because we're at a doll collecting video. This is where we thrive. This is where we can all talk about it. But collecting the tiny fashions, oh my gosh, it is so much fun. So if you have this outfit, let me know. Okay, the last one is doll photography. The art of capturing an image of your doll through the art of photography. As a doll collector, and let's face it, in this era, we have needed to take pictures of our dolls, whether for fun, to share on social media, to catalog them, but taking pictures of dolls is such a big thing. But especially in the modern world, we have a lot of fun setting up the scene, setting up the play and the exciting part of it, and then capturing the image. So I'm actually gonna ask Christopher, because he's been on a little bit of a journey with the doll photography, and let's see what he has to say. Okay, so poor Christopher, he had his ear pods in, he was in the zone, he was getting ready to take photos, he was getting the dolls ready, and I had to ask him, because this has been a new experience for you.
Hello.
Being a doll collector.
Yeah. You
took pictures before, but now you're really digging deep. What has that been like for you as a collector?
It's very fun. It's very exciting. I have long since been in circles with
Here, I'll let you stand in front.
Photography's been like,
oops.
by light. No, photography is something that I've been in circles with for a long time, both in cosmetics and also personally with family or friends or whatever. I have many photographers in my life, and so I'm not foreign to it altogether, but I don't consider myself a professional by any means. With that in mind, I've long since taken like Instagram photos of dolls or whatever, using a proper camera and proper studio lighting and the necessary tools for hairstyling and for garment pressing and all of the preparation that goes into tiny scale photography is something that has been very fun to learn and to embark on, but it's also a huge learning experience, because I was actually just telling a friend this recently, that if you think about like the scale of strands of hair on your head, seeing one strand out of place does not really make a difference when you're, you know, with somebody. You're not going to notice that one hair. You do, however, notice the same thickness of hair on a tiny little head. When that hair is out of place, you notice it, particularly in like an HD photo, right? Like all of that sort of stuff is, I've become much more aware of that sort of fine-tuning and attention to detail and really, really pruning your muse, I guess, before you photograph it. And like lighting is such a fun thing to explore and experiment with, and I think playing with lighting is going to be, in my experience, one of the most substantial and like impressionable and large components of photography. Maybe that sounds obvious, but really it makes so much more of a difference than I was prepared for. And sometimes you need a surplus of light, and sometimes you need very, very little, and you can get a really, you know, incredible effect either way. I don't know, I think doll photography has many pros and cons, maybe, that contrast human or landscape or whatever other photography genres you can, you know, use. But your models are very amicable. They are very easy to work with. They don't ever, you know, complain or talk back to you. And they're, you know, I think in that regard, it's really easy and very fun, I think, to pose the models and play with all the other components that you do with photography. But it's been, I don't know, maybe the single most challenging and rewarding part of my job right now is sort of at the helm of photo making and taking and all of it. It's been very fun. Yeah, and I'm glad he feels that way, because it is a big job. And, you know, when Ernesto stopped, I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? And I looked, and doll photographers, they're hard to find. Yeah. I mean, there's no school for for that
Yeah.
specific muse, right?
So
There's
you
no
can,
education.
but you can learn.
Yeah.
And the photos he took on day one versus the photos that we're showing you now, they're incredible. We're doing a split screen right now, so you can see some of his photos, and they're wonderful. And
thank you.
But when you see a photo, we've really looked at it, and
I'll take the same photo from the same angle like 6 times before I even adjust anything, because like I think those tiny little details really, I think, make or break the entire photo. And when you're looking at the expression on a doll face and how that is positioned either away from the camera or in response to the lighting or with posture or with a tiny little twinkle of reflect in the iris, all of these things make a difference, and you may only get 1 or 2 of those elements at a time. And so if you're trying to check certain boxes to say like, well, I want a certain emotion or I want a certain vibe of some kind, you may need to attempt that many times to get the result you're hoping for at all, if you even can, and then maybe you have to just repose and start all over.
right. But all that said, don't be afraid to take pictures.
No, please go try it. It's very fun.
Yes.
When I say it's challenging, it is, but it's also, I mean it. It's
fun.
so rewarding, and I really feel like I'm taking an education away from doing so, and I'm having fun at the same time. It's very very very
Yeah,
fun.
it's rewarding. So with all of that, I hope that you can come away thinking, maybe I should try it. If you haven't done it, try it.
I mean,
it's fun.
If you're on the fence,
Try it.
And also, I think a great tool to begin with is your phone.
Yeah.
I can't think of a single person I know now that doesn't have a smartphone capable of taking photos and editing them within its own software. Like, you don't need external apps, you don't need fancy equipment. Like, so much of what you can do for doll photography already exists in your phone. So start there, see what you think, try it. I learned a lot just that way.
Yeah.
And then if, maybe you get a wild hair and this turns into something bigger for you, and you buy a camera and, it's your own business now.
No. Thank you, Christopher.
Thanks, guys.
I appreciate Christopher being in this video because it was a lot of me talking. But, all these experiences as doll collectors really unite us. And that's why it's fun to talk about, and for us to encourage each other and to put in the comments, yes, here's my experience, because a lot of times, especially with not being able to be in person at a lot of different doll things where you're physically meeting people, that's why these videos are so important. And that's why online connection is so incredibly important, because we don't always get the opportunity, depending on where we live or what our status is for just a lot of things. For years after 2020 and my first big doll show back was UFDC last year, and for a lot of reasons. So connecting on social media and through videos is incredibly important, and especially as doll collectors, sometimes we need that validation so we don't feel like we're out there alone on an island, which you're not. You're here with us, and we're your doll besties. So this was really fun. I really very much enjoyed sharing experiences that we all as doll collectors understand. If you liked this video, then make sure to hit the subscribe button on YouTube so you never miss a thing. We're always putting out really fun stuff and doing all kinds of doll videos and content as much as we possibly can, and it's been a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know your favorite thing on my list, and we'll see you very soon. Bye.